Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the X First Global channel. Thank you very much for joining me here today. Hope you're all having a fantastic week. Today, we're back with the new altcoin analysis, XLM or Stellar Lumens or whatever you want to call it. I think it's worthy of sharing for those that are now possibly transitioning out of meme coins or any other altcoins, since we are now working in some kind of consistent downtrend for Bitcoin. And now I'm going to slowly start discussing coins that I find that are more interesting on my radar in terms of consolidation or accumulated phases, as the Elliott Wave Theory does work better with price history. So without any further ado, today I'm going to be discussing one coin that does have a huge price history dating back in the mid-2010s, just like XRP. And if you haven't already seen my previous video on XLM's sister coin, Ripple or XRP, please make sure to check out that altcoin analysis playlist as well. So first of all, now we can sit here all day and discuss tokenomics, fundamentals, and more specifically the market cap of these types of coins, but that isn't the goal here. We're here to discuss the price action purely from a price perspective that could help align with people who do believe not only in the fundamentals, but how the price action could more specifically align with people's thesis on how it can break the barrier of market cap ideas. So now, as I've said, XLM has an extremely long price history and is now categorized as a possible dinosaur coin or dino coin, quote unquote. Basically, at this point, it is a ride or die type of coin, and many are possibly already invested in this far back in the mid-2010s. And now this is possibly a new accumulative phase or a regathering of new investors and new money that may be interested in learning about these coins. So maybe the Elliott Wave Theory could help point us in a possible general direction. So due to that price history, we do have two possible counts that may prove to use that as a bottoming that may be in or nearing into a bottom going into 2025 if we do create a possible new bottom. So we've been in this consistent range for the past 7 years or so, just like XRP, and it does have a very similar outlook. But what's interesting about XLM is that it has a far better interesting look in terms of the categorical of these wave degrees and basically these bursts. So we had two peaks here basically. And what we're trying to assume here is how can we create another possible peak here? Well, the first thing here is that we do have a cycle degree of a 1, 2. So if you guys aren't familiar with Elliott Wave Theory, again, we work in degrees, 5 wave degrees here. And all of these pivotal points do create one larger degree based on how these 5 wave moves are created. So we do have our first 5 wave move being created here. And then we have our first wave 1 of the largest degree. And then we create another 5 wave degree of the smaller degree that could be possibly working in a possible cycle wave 3. Now, that is quite ambitious, but in terms of what we have for the data, Elliott Wave Theory could go infinitely to the upside or infinitely to the downside. But again, it's just working with the preceding, the receding, and also the current wave data given. You have to work around that, and that's why it's currently a theory. It can't be validated that it can go up forever. So as we have this 1, 2 cycle degree in, it's pretty clear that this was the bear market of that 2018 post-ICO phase, and we have created a 2-year downtrend, and that is quite enough for us to say that this is a completed corrective wave. Again, ABC or a WXY or some kind of combination factor. But here what we have is a possible 3 wave, and another 3 wave, eventually giving us that WXY going into that cycle wave 2. So now that this is a 90% plus drop, again, we are assuming that this is a wave 2 bottom, and now this 5 wave move up is giving us that possibility that this may be working in an internal extension of a wave 3 of the cycle. So again, we can sit here all day and talk about market cap, the assumption of how far these price actions could extend. But again, we were at one point trading at 0.01 cent for per XLM. We eventually almost hit $1. So that's about 100,000% gain in itself. Does that mean it could go up further? Absolutely, that's a possibility, and that's why we're here. We're discussing the possibilities and applying the Elliott Wave Theory in terms of those possibilities, and also combining that or intertwining with the observations given. So as we can see here, again, 5-wave move into that primary wave 1, and then we have another possible W, X, Y, X, Z, or even a possible A, B, C, where we have a possible move to the downside as this primary wave 2 has also concluded. So we've created 2 peaks basically for 2 different one parent degree and 1 smaller degree. Now, as we start to create these nesting structures, we have another possible 1-2 being created here, and this could now, or is of interest to me personally, that since we've created the next possible 3-wave move, just like we've been creating here for the corrective moves, is that on the smallest degree here of the intermediate degree, in this orange parentheses, is that this may now be starting to look like a conclusion for a possible bottoming action here. So what's important is validation and invalidation levels. The first level of invalidation is going to be obviously this level here, and that reverts us back to us possibly working on a larger primary wave 2. Now, that's not going to be the case for me, because that starts to extend our larger degree of this primary degree against this degree here of the cycle larger in time. And usually you don't want to have a larger degree against the parent degree. So what that means is we are pretty much at peak validation of a possible completion here, and then moving up to the upside. So if this gets invalidated, at least we know it will be invalidated, and we could work with a different possible count that could still give us a similar end result. So the first idea here is that this is a 1-2, this is a 1-2, and then we have a larger 1-2 of that degree as well. Now this could look like a triangle of some sort, but for now, this idea is more resorted towards having a better look as a possible cycle, primary, intermediate degree, all nesting inside of a larger move to the upside. So here we have a pretty clean ABC here. It looks like we are completing the final 5th wave of the C wave here. We do have a very clean 1-to-1 extension. Again, we usually look for equality in these waves, for these corrective waves. We had pretty strong equality here, although it did not meet that 1-to-1 extension for this WXY. But again, those are expectations, merely as guidelines in terms of Fibonacci. Again, this here, however, on the smallest degree does have that pertaining to the equality of the A to C ratio. So to me personally, I think that this has a possibility of being a completion here for this first count that could bring us to at least the 90 to possibly surpassing the dollar range, because that is also an expectation for Ripple or XRP. And if that's the case, this here in combination with the fundamentals and the community backing, this could help build the overall thesis for a larger move to the upside, for creating a possible 3rd peak that could also bring us surpassing that, and finally giving us a resolution that this is now finally the largest accumulative phase of any altcoin out there. So this XLM, Stellar Lumens, is also, in comparison with XRP, the longest accumulated coin, and even Litecoin as well. And these are all coins that are still heavily backed in the top 50 coins. XLM, I believe, is in the top 30. You know, XRP, of course, everyone knows that coin. Even the new smart and dumb money also knows that it's going to be possibly eventually going for a move to the upside or downside. It's just we don't know the direction. But the overall sentiment, especially with Ripple creating some kind of regulatory phase for cryptocurrency markets or framework, this has a very strong chance because XLM moves quite in tandem with Ripple. So that's a very important factor to keep in mind as well. That's why I'm keeping a very close eye on XLM or Stellar, because it moves very closely with XRP. So again, to summarize, this 1-2 idea could be a possibility of creating a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Depending on how far this wave 3 extends, this could be finally part of this degree here of the primary, have another 4 and then 5, and then going into that cycle wave 3. So that's the first idea. I think we are coming to a very strong conclusion here, depending on if this 101 extension is going to be holding. If this level breaks, what is the next possibility? And can we still get another possibility of going to the upside? Absolutely. I do think that this could be a larger flat in the making, meaning that we may be creating a regular flat on the larger degree here, where maybe we are just working with the cycle 1 and cycle 2, and we're still just working in one larger consolidating phase here, just like what we've seen for Litecoin and XRP. So this idea here is now working in a possible 335. Again, this is a larger corrective structure. Like I said, we have 5-wave motive, and each wave in between of a 1-2 and a 3-4, we're looking for a corrective move of at least a 3-wave fashion, but those can be turning into a different type of corrective patterns, a little bit more advanced. We do have a 335 being built here, and that is one mode of correction that could be possibly being built here as well. So the first structure remains the same. That's our 3 structure here for that first part of the 3. We have another possible ABC that's now converted from that motive wave or that impulse wave as the 3, and now we're looking for this to be a possible 5-wave move down, or the impulse or the resolution phase of a C wave of a larger flat. So if this is the C wave, we're looking for this to be the conclusion right here. It can be a little bit more pressure. The markets do show a little bit of that kind of idea or basis that we may be working for a little bit of lower downside. So this idea still exists. But again, this idea, if we're not being too bearish, this idea of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fits very nicely for a possible regular flat that could be working for even a bigger move to the upside. And we're going to be working possibly into 2024, even up to 2026, that this coin may be one of the most accumulated coins and will just burst out of here or rocket out of here without any pretty much warning, right? And that's why I'm here to give you guys my personal view on why we should be looking into these coins and why we should be aware of these old coins that are accumulating, because that is exactly what we want to be looking for, right? Accumulation. So with that being said, this final 5th wave may be working. We're just replacing our actionary waves, our reactionary waves, or the corrective waves. And in this case here, we're now working in that final impulse wave of a possible larger C wave. And that final 5th wave, we have the first possible beginning of a 1, 2. We may be working in a 3 now, and a 4, and then 5. And then we may be looking for a larger move to the upside. Again, from a fundamental perspective, it's a ride or die coin. I think there's only 2 categories or 3 categories of people who are invested in this coin. The first category being the people who has already invested into this coin and they're just holding it possibly for higher levels. And number 2 is the people who they got burned from that previous market. They entered the market around 2017, 2018, and they knew the potential for these types of coins. So now they want to learn from their mistakes and possibly looking for that one last move to kind of redeem themselves. And then there's the third category, which is the dumb money, which is like, the meme coins, those people who are going into meme coins and now transitioning out of that, and they may be looking for new types of coins. And these Dino coins is one of those bigger categorical coins because they still do fit in the top 50, top 10 of the market cap coins. So again, this coin, in my opinion, is possibly one of those picks that maybe be overdue for a possible run. 5 to 10x is possibly a minimum, because a 5 to 10x minimum is going to be bringing us and creating that third peak for a 10x gain or 1,000%. Again, many people may say this is irrational, but look at meme coins such as Dogecoin, even Pepe or Floki. Those coins did over 100,000%. So there's really not much to be asking for here, if you're really asking me. I mean, if you're just looking for the next potential coin, this may be having a little bit more of a conservative approach, even at just 10x, because this has so much price history. So hopefully that helped kind of offset some of the concerns related to that from a more technical perspective, and more specifically the Elliott Wave Theory. I think that these 2 counts have a very, very strong contender for being a possible bullish perspective move to the upside. In terms of the bearish move to the downside, I mean, we could always go for more downside, but for me, I think it just having a little bit more conviction in our analysis does help us build up the possible narrative of moving to the upside. So hopefully that was helpful, ladies and gentlemen. I will do more altcoin updates. Thank you very much, and please do share your favorite altcoin in the comment section. Maybe I'll do an analysis on that next. So thank you very much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.